Hi students, this is Botany PSR. In the previous class, we discussed about algae classification. Today, we will discuss about the next group called Bryophyta. That means, to understand Bryophyta, we have to know what are embryophytes, what are tracheophytes, what are archegoniates. Embryophyta means the plants that possess embryo in their life cycle are called embryophyta. The plants that possess archegonia as the female sex organ are called archegoniates. The plants that possess archegonia as a female sex organ are called archegoniates. Next, the plants that possess vascular tissues. The plants that possess vascular tissues are called tracheophytes. Which do not possess vascular tissues are called atracheophytes. Those points we have to remember. Okay? Now look at here, my dear students. Embryophyta. Embryophyta means, phyta means plants. Embryo means embryo. The plants that possess embryo in their life cycle are called embryophytes or embryophyta. What are the examples? Bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Next, what are non-embryophytes means? Algae and fungi. Algae and fungi are non-embryophytes. That means in these two groups, zygote undergoes meiosis, whereas in embryophytes, embryo ploidy is 2n, zygote ploidy is 2n. 2n becomes 2n means, which division occurs means mitosis. So that is, zygote undergoes mitosis in embryophytes, zygote undergoes meiosis in non-embryophytes, that is algae and fungi, zygote undergoes meiosis. Next, tracheophyta. Phyta means plants. Tracheo means vascular tissues. The plants that possess vascular tissues are called tracheophyta. What are the examples? Pteridophyta, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Remaining groups are called atracheophyta. That means without vascular tissues are called atracheophyta. That is algae and bryophyta. Next, archegoniate. The plants that possess archegonia as female sex organ. Archegonia is the female sex organ. Those groups are bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms only. Don't write angiosperms here. What is the female sex organ in angiosperms? Gynoecium, isn't it? Carpels. The individual units, the individual members in gynoecium are called carpels. So that is, do not write here angiosperms. Right. Non-archegoniate are algae and angiosperms. The common point, similarity in both algae and angiosperms is absence of archegonia. Those points you have to remember. What are embryophytes? Bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Remaining groups are non-embryophytes. What are tracheophytes? Pteridophyta, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Remaining groups are atracheophytes. What are archegoniates? This point you have to remember. What are archegoniates means? Bryophyta, pteridophyta, gymnosperms. Don't say angiosperms. Remaining groups are called non-archegoniates, that is algae and angiosperms. The common point, similarity between algae and angiosperms is absence of archegonia. Those points you have to remember. Okay. So make it simple, that is embryophyta. Embryophyta means from which group means, here what is the word? Bryophyta is there, no? So that is from that point onwards to the last. Embryophyta means from bryophyta to the end. Here bryophyta sound is there, no? Like that you have to remember. Next, tracheophyta. T sound is there, no? Pteridophyta. PTE. T sound is there. Tracheophyta means from Pteridophyta to the end. Like that you have to remember. Archegoniata means Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms. Don't say Angiosperms. Right. What are bryophytes? These bryophytes are also called amphibians of plant kingdom, also called amphibious cryptogams. Amphibians, amphi means both. They live in moist soil and they require water for fertilization. That means they live both in water and on land. That's why these are also called amphibians of plant kingdom, also called amphibious cryptogams. Why? Because they live in moist soil and they require water for fertilization, sexual reproduction. Next, these are the first land plants, that is before algae, that is algae are aquatic. These live on water and on soil, that is first land plants. Don't say first true land plants, do not add true. First land plants are bryophytes. These are considered to be the first embryophytes. If you look at here means first embryophytes are bryophytes. First embryophytes are bryophytes. Last embryophytes are angiosperms. Similarly, first tracheophytes are pteridophytes. Last tracheophytes are angiosperms. Next, first archegoniates are bryophytes. Last archegoniates are gymnosperms. How they will ask in exams? First embryophytes are the first archegoniates. First embryophytes means bryophyta. First archegoniates means bryophyta. First embryophytes are the first archegoniates. True. First embryophytes are the first tracheophytes. False. First embryophytes means bryophyta. First tracheophytes means pteridophyta. First embryophytes are the first tracheophytes. False. Like that they will ask. Okay. Next, first land plants are bryophyta. First embryophytes are bryophytes. First archegoniates are bryophyta. First jacketed sex organs, whereas in algae sex organs are unicellular, whereas here sex organs are multicellular and those sex organs are covered by jacket. That's why first jacketed sex organs found in bryophyta. First zygotic mitosis. Zygote undergoes mitosis first in bryophyta, last in angiosperms. Whereas in algae and fungi, zygote undergoes meiosis. Zygotic meiosis occurs in algae and fungi. Right. Dominant phase in bryophyta is gametophyte. This is very, very important point, my dear students. Try to remember what is the dominant phase in bryophyta is gametophyte. What does it mean, gametophyte? Phyte means phase. The phase that produces gametes is called gametophyte, which is haploid in nature. So, the dominant phase in bryophyta is gametophyte. Let us suppose, see up to here only. This is root-like structures called rhizoids, stem-like structures called colloids, leaf-like structures called phylloids. So, up to here, this is so-called gametophyte. Okay. Later on, when sexual reproduction occurs, sporophyte is developed. Sporophyte is developed. This is so-called sporophyte, which is diploid in phase. So, this sporophyte is physically dependent on gametophyte, nutritionally also dependent on gametophyte. That means, nutritionally means the sporophyte will take water and mineral salts, but not food materials. So, sporophyte is a partial parasite on gametophyte. Sporophyte is physically dependent on gametophyte. True. Sporophyte is nutritionally dependent on gametophyte. True. So, sporophyte is physically and nutritionally dependent on gametophyte. That's why the sporophyte is a partial parasite on gametophyte. Okay? Right. Dominant phase in Bryophyta is gametophyte, which is haploid. What are the structures found in gametophyte means root-like structures called rhizoids, stem-like structures called colloids, leaf-like structures called phylloids. Gametophyte is haploid means rhizoids, colloids, phylloids. All these are haploid in nature. Sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. Sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. In which group means? That is Bryophyta. Life cycle found in Bryophyta is haplodiplontic. What does it mean? Haplo means haploid phase first, that is gametophyte. Later on, diploid stage will come, which is so called sporophyte. So that's why life cycle in Bryophyta is haplodiplontic life cycle. Okay? Now, what are the general characters of Bryophyta? Where do these bryophytes grow? These bryophytes grow in moist soil, damp, shady places. The plants that grow in shady places are called xeophytes. So, these bryophytes grow in moist conditions, damp conditions and shady places. Okay, the plants that grow in shady places are called xeophytes. So, bryophytes are one type of, bryophytes are the examples of xeophytes. True. Right. Bryophytes are also called amphibians of plant kingdom or amphibious cryptogams. What is the reason? Because they live in moist soil and depends on water for fertilization. They require water for fertilization or they require water for sexual reproduction. Next, bryophytes have no, this is very very important, they have no true plant body, or bryophytes have no true root, stem and leaves. What does it mean? True root, true stem, true leaves. That means those parts will possess vascular tissues, means those are considered to be the true parts. Here, these are the parts belong to gametophyte, not belonging to sporophyte. Here, these root, stem and leaves are the parts of gametophyte. Gametophytic parts do not possess vascular tissues. Of course, here the sporophyta, bryophyta does not possess the gametophyte does not possess vascular tissues. That's why gametophyte parts have no vascular tissues. That's why bryophytes have no true means having vascular tissues. Here no vascular tissues in gametophyte. That's why I have no true plant body, or bryophytes have no true root, stem and leaves because of being gametophytic in origin and atracheophytic. So, gametophytes does not possess vascular tissues. So, atracheophytic means that is without vascular tissues. So, why this gametophyte does not possess vascular tissues means the dominant phase of Bryophyta is gametophytic in origin. That is the reason, right? Gametophyte, it may be thallus-like, thalloid gametophyte. Thalloid gametophyte found in liverworts, hornworts. Prostrate. Prostrate means which grows horizontal on the soil. Prostrate means like this. It grows horizontally on the soil. So, prostrate, thalloid gametophyte found in liverworts, hornworts. And leafy gametophyte. Leafy gametophyte means the gametophyte that possesses leaves. Those are not considered as true leaves. Those are considered to be the leaf-like structures. Leaf-like structures. So, leafy gametophyte found in mosses. Very, very important. Erect means straight. Erect means straight. And root-like, stem-like, leaf-like structures are present. What do you call the root-like structures? Called rhizoids. Stem-like structures called colloids. Leaf-like structures called phylloids. So, all these are haploid in nature. All these are, that is rhizoids, colloids, phylloids. All these are haploid in nature. Next, internally, the gametophyte shows simple parenchymatous tissue. That is, plant body or gametophyte is made up of internally simple parenchymatous tissue. Presence of parenchyma is a primitive character. Presence of parenchyma is a primitive character. That is, primitive tissue is found inside the gametophytic plant body. Right. This gametophyte reproduces both vegetatively and sexually. Vegetatively by fragmentation. What does it mean, fragmentation? If a gametophyte is split into number of fragments, each fragment later develops into a new organism, new plant, that is so called fragmentation. And sexual reproduction, it can reproduce sexually, that is by which method? Zoidogamy. Zoidogamy means male gamete is motile, female gamete is non-motile, that is so called zoidogamy. Zoidogamy, male gamete is motile, female gamete is non-motile. That type of oogamy is called zoidogamy. Overall, zoidogamy found in both Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Right. Now look at here. Gametophyte reproduces sex organs. Those sex organs are multicellular, jacketed and stalked. Stalked sex organs found in Bryophyta. Stalkless, without stalk, sex organs found in Pteridophyta. What are the characteristics of sex organs? Means multicellular, jacketed, stalked. Whereas in Pteridophyta, multicellular, stalked, without stalk. Without stalk means sessile. Stalkless sex organs found in Pteridophyta. Stalked sex organs found in Bryophyta. That point you have to remember. That is the difference between sex organs of Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. What is the male sex organ in Bryophyta? Antheridium. What is the female sex organ in Bryophyta? Archegonium. See, let us see this diagram. This is the Antheridium diagram, which is club shape, and male sex organ is called Antheridium, which is dash shape, club shape. In this Antheridium is haploid in nature. Antheridium is haploid in nature. So this is so called jacket layer. Sex organs are covered by jacket layer. Jacket means covering layer. Right. This is a stalk. This is a stalk. That stalk is multicellular. Sex organs are multicellular, jacketed with stalk found in Bryophyta. Whereas in Pteridophyta, sex organs are stalkless, without stalk. Right. This Antheridium is haploid. It produces number of male gametes called antherozoids or spermatozoids. One Antheridium may produce number of antherozoids, or these antherozoids are nothing but male gametes. This is one Antheridium. One Antheridium produces many male gametes. Let us see this is the diagram of female sex organ called Archegonium. Archegonium is the female sex organ. Archegonium is the female sex organ first found in Bryophyta, last found in Gymnosperms. The plants that possess Archegonia as female sex organ found in Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms. Don't say Angiosperms. Why? Because in Angiosperms, what is the female sex organ? That is gynoecium. That is, individual members in gynoecium are called carpels. So don't write Angiosperms. So this is Archegonium, which is shape is flask shape. It contains three parts: stalk, venter, neck. The parts of Archegonium is stalk, venter, neck. Inside the venter, only one egg cell is present. That is, one Archegonium produces how many egg cells? How many female gametes means? Only one. Whereas here, one Antheridium produces how many male gametes? Many. This is the one male gamete structure, which is biflagellate. This is the male gamete in Bryophyta, which is biflagellate. See, male sex organ is called Antheridium, which is club shape. Each Antheridium produces many antherozoids or spermatozoids which are haploid in nature. Female sex organ is called archegonium. Shape is flask shape. Each archegonium contains only one egg cell. One antheridium produces many male gametes. One archegonium produces, that is, only one egg cell. So, antheridium is to male gametes is, ratio between antheridium and male gametes is 1:many. Ratio between archegonium and female gamete is 1:1. Did you understand, my dear students? Right. So, this is the antheridium, which is club shape. This is the structure of archegonium, which is a flask shape. It contains three parts, that is stalk, venter and neck. Egg cell is found inside the venter part. This is the venter part. So, inside the venter, egg cell is present. Okay. Now, how does the fertilization occur? From the antheridium, male gametes are released and they fall on water. Let us suppose this is the water, the released male gametes, and this is the female sex organ called archegonium. So, they reach the water and they finally reach the archegonium neck, and the male gamete enters into the neck and then finally to venter, and inside the venter egg cell is present. There the fertilization occurs. So, fertilization occurs inside the venter. So, that is zygote is formed. Where does the zygote is formed? In venter, inside the venter of archegonium. So, here water is required. Which one is required for fertilization? Means water. If water is not there, if water is not available, what happens? No fertilization. So, water is compulsorily need for fertilization. If no water means no fertilization, no zygote, no sporophyte development. So, which one is needed for fertilization? Which one is required for fertilization? In Bryophyta means water. So, male gametes swim in water and they reach the archegonium and finally through neck and finally enter into the venter, and here egg cell is present. The male gamete fuses with egg cell and form zygote. So, zygote is formed inside the venter of archegonium. Venter of archegonium. So, ploidy of zygote is 2n. Which one is needed for fertilization? Means water. Right. Water is essential for fertilization, not only in Bryophyta but also in Pteridophyta also same process. So, that is, as male gametes are motile, no? With the help of flagella they can swim. So, as male gametes are motile, this type of oogamy is called zoidogamy. What is that oogamy called? Zoidogamy. Zoidogamy found in both Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Next, zygote, which is also called fertilized egg. Ploidy is 2n, which is formed in venter of archegonium. Next, antherozoid plus egg cell. This is haploid, this is also haploid, and finally zygote is formed, that is 2n. What type of oogamy found is zoidogamy. What does it mean? Zoidogamy means zoidogamy means Jew. Jew means male gamete is motile, female gamete is non-motile. This type of zoidogamy found in not only in Bryophyta but also in Pteridophyta. That means zoidogamy found in both Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Next, zygote undergoes mitotic divisions to form embryo and later develops into sporophyte. That is, zygote develops into embryo. That is, 2n becomes 2n means the division required is mitotic divisions. This embryo later develops into 2n. Divisions required are mitotic divisions only. So, that is, this sporophyte is developed from zygote. What is the first cell of sporophytic generation? Zygote. Don't say embryo. First cell of sporophyte, first cell of sporophytic generation is zygote. Did you understand, my dear students? First cell of sporophyte is zygote. So, this sporophyte is developed from zygote. Did you understand? So, what is the dominant phase in Bryophyta means? Gametophyte. This gametophyte produces sex organs, antheridium, archegonium. And from the antheridium, male gametes are released. From the female sex organ called archegonium, inside the venter, egg cell is present. There, inside the venter, fertilization occur. What type of oogamy means? Zoidogamy. So that is, sporophyte is developed from zygote by undergoing what type of divisions means? Mitotic divisions. First cell of sporophytic generation is zygote. This sporophyte again later on it produces spores. Sporophyte means which produces spores. Okay? Ploidy of sporophyte is 2n. This sporophyte is physically dependent on gametophyte, nutritionally dependent on gametophyte. Nutritionally means the sporophyte what it takes from gametophyte, that is water and mineral salts, but not food materials. That's why the sporophyte is a partial parasite on gametophyte. So please note down all these points, my dear students. Now look at here, my dear students. Sporophyte is physically and nutritionally dependent on gametophyte. That means sporophyte is a partial parasite on gametophyte. Let us suppose this is the gametophyte which is haploid in nature. So that is the released male gametes, they may fall on water, they may fall in water and they reach the archegonium. So that is this gametophyte may possess, this is male branch. Male branch means also called antheridiophore. This branch is so called female branch, also called archegoniophore. That is male branch contains male sex organ called antheridia, whereas female branch contain a number of archegonia, female sex organ. Female branch contain female sex organs called archegonia, which are many in number. Male branch also contains male sex organ. Male branch contain male sex organs which are called antheridia, which are many in number. So the released male gametes come in. The released male gametes reach the egg cell of archegonium, and there the fertilization occurs inside the venter of archegonium. There the zygote is formed. Inside the venter, zygote is formed. That inside the venter only embryo is formed. That embryo is later developed into sporophyte. The sporophyte is physically dependent on gametophyte. It takes water and minerals from the gametophyte. That is physically and nutritionally dependent. Sporophyte is physically and nutritionally dependent on gametophyte. Very, very important point. Next, sporophyte, later on it produces many spore mother cells. So that is sporophyte is 2n. Spore mother cells also 2n diploid. Later on, each spore mother cell undergoes reduction division and produces spores. That is, sporophyte is diploid. Each spore mother cell is also diploid, and each spore mother cell undergo meiotic division or reduction division and produces spores. All these spores are haploid in nature. All these spores are one kind. So, this is homosporous. That is, the sporophyte produces one kind of spores. This one kind of spores formation is so called homosporous. All bryophytes are homosporous in nature. Right. First cell of gametophyte is, that is, spore. Last cell of gametophyte is gametes. That is, from the sporophyte, gametophyte is developed. Last cell of gametophyte means gametes, male gamete, female gamete. First cell of sporophyte means zygote. From the zygote, sporophyte is developed. That's why first cell of sporophyte is zygote. Last cell of sporophyte is spore mother cells. Don't say spores. Why? Because sporophyte is diploid and spore mother cells also diploid. We have to say the same ploid in nature. So, last cell of sporophyte is spore mother cells. Don't say spores. First cell of gametophyte is spore. Last cell of gametophyte is gametes. First cell of sporophyte is zygote. Last cell of sporophyte is spore mother cells. Ploid is also you have to same. Gametophyte n, spore n, gametophyte n, gametes n, sporophyte to n, zygote to n, sporophyte to n, spore mother cells to n. The ploidy also should be equal, right? All bryophytes are homosporous. Homosporous, that is producing one kind of spores. That is, what type of meiocytes are present? Spore mother cells. Only one kind of number of types of meiocytes. One kind. That is, name is spore mother cells. Producing one kind of spores is called homosporous. Homosporous found in Bryophyta. Number of kinds of meiocytes, 1. What is that one kind name? That is spore mother cells. Right. What is the sequence of cells? Sporophyte produces spore mother cells, that is inside the capsule. The spore mother cells undergo meiotic division, also called reduction division, and produces spores. This is the sequential order. Sporophyte. What does it mean, sporophyte? Phyte means phase. Sporo means spores. The phase or the plant that produces spores is called sporophyte. Next, spore directly develops into gametophyte in liverworts and hornworts, whereas in mosses, spore first of all develop into protonema and then gametophyte. Protonema is found in the life cycle of mosses. Very, very important point. That is, protonema is not found in the life cycle of, that is, liverworts and hornworts. Protonema is found in the life cycle of mosses. Do you understand, my dear students? So, that is, protonema is developed from spore. Protonema is developed from spore. Ploidy of spore is N. Protonema ploidy is N. Gametophyte ploidy is N. So, that is, protonema is developed from spore. Protonema is later on developed into gametophyte. This protonema is found in the life cycle of mosses, that is Bryopsida. Protonema is not found, that is spore directly developed into gametophyte in liverworts and hornworts. Okay? Right. What is the life cycle? Life cycle found in Bryophyta is haplodiplontic. What does it mean, haplodiplontic? That means, what is the dominant phase in Bryophyta? Gametophyte. Gametophyte, which is haploid. This gametophyte produces male sex organ, female sex organ. From the male sex organ antheridium, male gametes are released, and from the female sex organ archegonium, egg cell is formed. So, the released male gametes enter into the venter of archegonium, and there the fertilization occurs inside the venter. Zygote is formed inside the venter. Zygote is formed inside the venter. Why? Because egg cell is present inside the egg cell is present inside the venter. That's why fertilization occurs inside the venter of archegonium. That's why embryo is also formed inside the venter of archegonium. Right. So, and from the sporophyte, spores are produced. So, that is initially haploid stage called gametophyte, and later on sporophyte is formed. So, life cycle is so called haplodiplontic in Bryophyta. Next, heteromorphic alternation of generations found. What does it mean? Heteromorphic. Hetero means different. Hetero means different. So, gametophyte is present, later on sporophyte. One is haploid, another is diploid. So, two different phases are found in the life cycle. Gametophyte alternates with the sporophyte. Sporophyte alternates with the gametophyte. This type of alternation of generations is called heteromorphic. Overall heteromorphic alternation of generations found in Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. What is heteromorphic alternation of generations? Both gametophyte and sporophyte are different. That is, gametophyte alternates with sporophyte. Sporophyte alternates with gametophyte. So, both are alternate with each other. Both the two phases are different. That's why it is so called heteromorphic alternation of generations found in Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms, Angiosperms. Haplodiplontic life cycle found in Bryophyta. Next, gametophyte reproduces vegetative reproduction by fragmentation and also sexual reproduction. And sporophyte reproduces means from the sporophyte, spores are produced. No? Formation of spores is considered to be the asexual. So, that is gametophyte reproduces both vegetative and sexual, whereas sporophyte reproduces asexual reproduction. Did you understand, my dear students? I hope you understood. Right. These are all the general characters of Bryophyta. So, how to understand means, that is dominant phase is gametophyte. From the gametophyte, sex organs are developed. From the sex organs, gametes are formed. Those gametes are fused together and form zygote. From the zygote, sporophyte is formed. From the sporophyte, spores are formed. This is sporophyte directly develops into gametophyte in liverworts and hornworts. Sporophyte first of all develop into protonema, later on develops into gametophyte. That is, presence of protonema is found in the life cycle of mosses. Protonema is not found in the life cycle of liverworts and hornworts. That is, three groups of liverworts, hornworts, mosses. These three groups are found in Bryophyta. Next, what are the uses of bryophytes? These are normal points only, my dear students. Just to concentrate. Mosses, that is one of the group in Bryophyta, Bryopsida class. Mosses provide food for herbaceous mammals, birds and other animals. Which provide food for herbaceous animals means mosses. Next point. Sphagnum is commonly called peat moss. Why? Because it provides peat. So, which plant is commonly called peat moss? Sphagnum. How can you remember? P for P. Sphagnum P is sound is there. Peat moss P sound is there. Which one is commonly called peat moss? Sphagnum. Why it is so called? What does it mean? Peat. Peat is dark brown, semi-decomposed vegetative matter of mosses. What is a peat means? Dark brown in color, semi-decomposed vegetative matter of mosses. This peat is used as fuel. What is the use of peat means? That is used as fuel. Peat is obtained from a plant called sphagnum, belongs to Bryophyta, that is class Bryopsida mosses. Next, sphagnum, which is commonly called peat moss, is used as transshipment of living material. For the transshipment of living material, which plant is needed means sphagnum. Why? Because it can hold the water. That's why this plant has capacity to hold water. That's why it is used as transshipment of living material. So because it has capacity to hold water. That's why which plant is used as transshipment of living material? That is a peat moss called sphagnum. Next, mosses play a significant role in plant section called xeroxere. That is, the section that starts in xeric conditions is called xeroxere. That is desert areas. That is, first of all, lichens will be formed. Lichens grow on those desert area, that is xeroxere. Later on, mosses will come. First of all, lichens and then mosses. So that is, mosses play a significant role in xeroxere plant section because they decompose rocks, make the substrate suitable for growth of higher plants. That is, on the rocks, that is desert areas, that is xeroxere. First of all, on the rocks means lichens will be grown. Later on, mosses. Later on, herbs. Later on, shrubs. Later on, trees. That is, on the rocks. First, animals colonize on rocks means lichens. Later on, mosses. So whatever it may be, mosses play a significant role in xeroxere succession. Okay. Next, mosses reduce the impact of falling rain. Reduce or increase? Reduce, don't say increase. Mosses reduce the impact of falling rain and also prevent soil erosion because mosses form dense mats on soil. So which form dense mats on soil means mosses. That's why soil erosion is prevented. Which reduce impact of falling rain means mosses. These are all the uses of bryophytes. So which is commonly called peat moss? Sphagnum. This sphagnum is used as transshipment of living material. Why? Because it can hold the water. So these are all the uses of bryophytes. I hope you understood, my dear students. So please note down all these points in your notebook. It is very easy to you. Then only it will be comfortable. Otherwise, you may feel difficult in plant kingdom. Okay? Right. Please note down all these points and we will meet in the next class.